This is a librivox recording.
Dies ist eine librivox-Aufnahme.
Esta es una grabación de librivox.
All librivox recordings are in the public domain.
Alle librivox-Aufnahmen sind lizenzfrei und in öffentlichem Besitz.
Todas las grabaciones de librivox son del dominio público.
For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org.
Grabado por Alejandro González Calderón.
Recording by Phil Chenevert.
Aufgenommen von Biggie Kaul.
You heard the typical introduction text of LibriVox in English, German and Spanish. And I have already mentioned LibriVox on episode 8, where I try to introduce you to the world of LibriVox. So if you want to learn more, please head over to episode 8. In a nutshell, LibriVox provides the public with audiobooks, which are all read by volunteers from all over the world, and by the way, they are all for free. There is a massive catalog of books in different languages and different genres. Everyone will find something of interest, believe me on that. And I am, by the way, your host, the passionate language learner, Daniel Goodson. And in general, with my Flume podcast, I want to share all my language experiences. If you have a story to share, just contact me. I would definitely appreciate. Well, alright, I decided to read out loud and record a chapter for LibriVox. I hoped for a pronunciation and intonation boost. And that's the topic for today, what I want to talk about in this episode. This was kind of a preamble, and now let's get started with this episode called Poison Island, which is the name of the book I decided to read out loud. And I'm gonna be honest with you, listen up my friend, I do not recommend you to do what I did. At least not how I did it or proceeded this whole task. Believe me. Signing up to such a huge task to read out loud a very big chapter, actually over 2000 words, turned out to be quite a struggle. It was indeed a chore, which I fulfilled only because I wanted to keep my promise to deliver my spoken chapter to LibriVox. And at all costs I wanted to keep my word. This was really important to me. Nevertheless, in this episode I want to share the experience I made, and probably more interesting for you, what I could have done better. So feel free to learn from my mistakes. First off, I must admit that I was kind of over-motivated when I had the first glance at LibriVox, the website. The reading out loud bug got me quite hard. And you know, motivation is a good thing, but it turned out, for me, not always. To get you an idea of an audiobook which inspired me, I will show you now a short extract from a LibriVox audiobook.
Herbert West, Reanimator by H.P. Lovecraft. Part 1. From the Dark. Of Herbert West, who was my friend in college and in afterlife, I can speak only with extreme terror. This terror is not due altogether to the sinister manner of his recent disappearance, but was engendered by the whole nature of his life work, and first gained its acute form more than 17 years ago, when we were in the third year of our course at the Miskatonic University Medical School in Arkham. While he was with me, the wonder and diabolism of his experiments fascinated me utterly, and I was his closest companion. Now that he is gone and the spell is broken, the actual fear is greater. Memories and possibilities are ever more hideous than realities.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I decided on recording a whole chapter too quickly. I was very thrilled while listening to different audiobooks, and the idea of the whole project is just great, you know. And finally, it had led to a fatal decision of mine. too rushly, I signed up, went to the forum and picked a book, Poison Island. Yeah, indeed, Poison. You can say that again. And I did not look at the text beforehand. And I did not know exactly if I could enjoy the book. So the words were way too complicated for me. And the sentences were very long. I had issues to breathe in between while reading the very long phrases. Oh my god. And I tried looking to the text as much as possible. And I knew after about 3 months 3 weeks. I wasn't prepared. I had really issues with all the pronunciation and so on. And LibriVox gives you about 1 or 2 months to send in the chapter, because maybe there are other volunteers who want to record the chapter, and it would not be fair to just not send in within 4 or 5 months. I can understand that completely, but that led to a bit of a panic because I knew I had to send in the chapter and I had a pronunciation overload. I marked a bunch of words in a highlighter and looked them up on forfo.com for the right pronunciation, but I asked myself, where do I get the right sentence melody or intonation? That was the greatest issue here, because I could look up for single words, yes, but I could not know how the melody should be. So I decided to went over to another application called Hello Talk, where you can meet with other language learners, and the goal over there is to find a tandem partner, a language partner. It's a pretty good application. And then over there I asked a friend of mine to read out loud a sentence from the book. He did so. I was amazed, but the problem was that I had about 1 million of more phrases that are waiting for me. At least it felt like that. I decided I just did it how I felt it was right. I'm not sure if I did it right. But finally I went forward, at least a little bit. And here I want to say that after about 2 weeks, I felt for the first time I had enough confidence that I could read out loud the whole chapter in a row. While after having read and recorded the whole thing, I felt quite overwhelmed. I had probably never ever read something for such a long time. I mean, read out loud. And I saved the recordings as an MP3 file. Then I opened it on my application called Smart Repeat app on my mobile phone and listened to it. Well, not bad, I thought, for the first try, but I came across lots of words where I was not sure, not happy with the pronunciation. And again, I marked them on my app, and then I re-listened to the pronunciation on Forfo. And my conclusion here is, for God's sake, don't try to do what I did. Because you should set yourself SMART goals. That means you need to find a text that suits you, which is not too difficult, but not too easy as well. Then focus on a short text and practice it. Look for the right pronunciation. And if you have a native friend, you can show him your recordings. That would be the smartest way. And now I'm gonna show you a few seconds of the final version of my text, which I am pretty proud of, finally. So have fun. Chapter 1 of Poison Island. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Recording by Daniel Goodson, Poison Island. Actually, I'm not that quick. By Sir Arthur Thomas Quiller Couch. Chapter 1. How I First Met with Captain Coffin. It was in the dusk of a July evening of the year 1813, July the 27th to be precise, that on my way back from the mail coach office, Falmouth, to Mr. Stimcoe's Academy for the Sons of Gentlemen, number 7 Delamere Terrace, I first met Captain Coffin as he came, drunk and cursing, up the Market Strand, with a rabble of children at his heels. I have reason to remember the date and hour of this encounter, not only for its remarkable consequences, but because it befell on the very day and within an hour or two of my matriculation at Stimcoe's. That afternoon I had arrived at Falmouth by Royal Mail in charge of Miss Plinlimmon, my father's housekeeper, and now but 10 minutes ago I had seen out that excellent lady and waved farewell to her, not without a sinking of the heart, on her return journey to Minden Cottage, which was my home. My name is Harry Brooks, and my age on this remembered evening was 14 and something over. Well, I won't bother you with more of the text. Actually, it goes on for about 13 or 14 minutes. So I was quite desperate in the beginning, but finally I am pretty happy that I did it. And by the way, I signed up to another chapter. I am your host, Daniel Goodson. Have a good one.